Google India Digital Services and NPCI International Payments recently entered into a pact that will act as an enabler to accelerate the expansion of UPI payments across the globe. The move will now expedite global acceptance of UPI, providing foreign merchants access to Indian customers who will no longer have to rely only on foreign currency or credit or forex cards for making digital payments and will have the option of using UPI-powered apps from India, including Google Pay. A 2023 Alt Index survey found that Google Pay is used by more than 150 million users across 42 markets. Already, 8 countries, including the UAE, Japan, the US, the UK, Singapore, Bhutan, Nepal, and France, have started accepting UPI's QR-based payment system, and NPIL is in talks with nearly 30 more nations to use UPI infrastructure. Various other countries in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East have offered NPCI to assist in establishing UPI-like digital payment systems in their countries. With NPCI expanding its platform on the global scale, it offers an alternative to various countries to use along with SWIFT. The Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, or SWIFT, is a messaging system used by over 11,000 member banks and financial institutions in more than 200 countries for financial transactions and payments across borders. So, is UPI technological infrastructure well equipped to challenge an already established international payment system?
UPI, of course, has to do more work on moving from being just a transactional system for individuals to supporting trade, right? So there is work there, but UPI is a far better technology because it's instant. It's unlike SWIFT, right? And it's a new age technology that way, right? It is handling billions of transactions, so there is scale is not an issue, right? So UPI will certainly come there, but there are more work to be done.
Cutting off a country from the SWIFT system means an instant suspension of its international finance and trade ties. Russia was cut off from the system on 26 February 2022 after it attacked Ukraine. But it can be counterproductive too. The reach of Russia's alternative to the SWIFT has been rapid since the ban. According to a Reuters report, over 450 new entities have joined it since the ban. India's UPI too is expanding fast. With more and more countries joining India's instant real-time payment system, internationalization of rupee would also gather steam. But Rohan Lakhiar of Grant Thornton, a leading auditing and advisory firm, thinks the path of UPI's international success has certain limitations.
Whenever UPI is taken overseas, these are bilateral arrangements, whereas SWIFT is a multilateral messaging system covering across the globe all the banks. So for UPI to work in each country, a bilateral agreement has to be signed with each of the countries, and which is logistically fairly heavy. Even when the partnership with Google, what it will do is it will only enable UPI where the bilateral agreements exist. Google cannot on its own enable UPI system in countries where such agreements do not exist. So these are going to be driven by NPCI's international subsidiary, where they will want to reach out to as many countries from a transaction remittance heavy countries and would want to get into bilateral arrangements. But this is certainly not a competition to SWIFT, but it will certainly help retail cross-border transactions to happen more seamlessly. It will become more accessible. It will become cheaper.
NPIL's next target is to conquer the $767 billion global remittance market. According to the World Bank's latest report on remittances, India saw the highest amount of remittance inflows in the world in 2023, amounting to $125 billion. Notably, the US remains the largest source of remittances globally, with Saudi Arabia coming second. The World Bank said remittance flows to India benefited by initiatives like UPI linkage between India and UAE. That stood at 18% of India's $125 billion remittance inflow in 2023. India has partnered with banks and payment companies in countries which receive the most remittances, and these countries are in various stages of UPI integration. Experts thus suggest going forward, UPI's expansion will allow remittance flows in these countries to bypass international payment systems enabled by American card networks like Visa and MasterCard. Experts point out that UPI does have the potential to provide faster, cheaper, and more sophisticated payment services on a global scale, and it requires more work in terms of widening its services, which at present are limited to peer-to-peer transactions. Moreover, since its expansion depends on India's bilateral agreement with countries, therefore its global acceptance is still a work in progress.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
She's working her way to the corner office. Business Standard.